Hi, my name is Sue Kerby. I'm the coordinator of Study Abroad at College of DuPage. I'm going to read excerpts from Xuela, a short story written by Jamaica Kincaid, first published in the New Yorker magazine on May 9th, 1994. My mother died at the moment I was born, and so for my whole life, there was nothing standing between me and eternity. At my back was always a bleak, black wind. I could not have known at the beginning of my life that this would be so. I only came to know this in the middle of my life, just at the time when I was no longer young, and realized that I had less of some of the things I used to have in abundance, and more of some of the things I had scarcely had at all. And this realization of loss and gain made me look backward and forward. At my beginning was this woman whose face I had never seen, but at my end was nothing, no one. There was nothing between me and the black room of the world. I came to feel that for my whole life I had been standing on a precipice, that my loss had made me vulnerable, that it had made me hard and helpless. On knowing this, I became overwhelmed with sadness and shame and pity for myself. When my mother died, leaving me a small child vulnerable to all of the world, my father took me and placed me in the care of the same woman he paid to wash his clothes. It is possible that he emphasized to her the difference between the two bundles. One was a child, perhaps not the only child of his in this world, but the only child he had had with the only woman he was married to for now. The other was his soiled clothes. He would have handled one more gently than the other. He would have given one more careful instructions for care than the other. He would have expected better care for one than the other, but which one I do not know. Because he was a vain man, his appearance was very important to him. That I was a burden to him then, I know. That his soiled clothes were a burden to him then, I know. That he didn't know how to take care of me by himself, and that he didn't know how to clean his clothes himself then, I know. He had lived in a very small house with my mother. He was poor, but it is not because he was good. He had simply not done enough bad things yet to get rich. The house was on a hill, and he walked down the hill, balancing in one hand his child, in the other his clothes, and he gave them, bundle and child, to this woman. She was not a relative of his or my mother's. Her name was Eunice Paul, and she had 6 children already, the last one still a baby. That was why she still had some milk to give me, but in my mouth it tasted sour and I would not drink it. She lived in a house that was far from other houses, and from it there was a broad view of the sea and the mountains. And when I was irritable and unable to console myself, she would prop me up on a pile of old clothes and place me under an old tree, and at the sight of the sea and those mountains, so unpitying, I would exhaust myself in tears. Ma Eunice was not unkind. She treated me just the way she treated her own children. But that is not to say that she was kind to her own children. In a place like this, brutality is the only real inheritance, and cruelty is sometimes the only thing given freely. Until I was 4, I did not speak. That did not cause anyone to lose a minute of happiness. There was no one who would have worried about it in any case. I knew I could speak, but I did not want to. I saw my father every fortnight when he came to get his clean clothes. I never thought of him as coming to visit me. I thought of him as coming to pick up his clean clothes. His visits were quite steady, so when one time he did not appear as he usually did, I noticed, and I said, "Where is my father?" I was then 4 years old and saw the world as a series of sketches, soft strokes in charcoal, and so when my father would come and take his clothes away, I saw only that he suddenly appeared on a small path that led from the main road to the door of the house in which I had lived, and then, after completing his mission, disappeared as he turned onto the road where it met the path. I did not know what lay beyond the path. I did not know if after he passed from my sight he remained my father or dissolved into something altogether different, and I would never see him again in the form of my father. I would have accepted it. I did not talk. I would not talk. Jamaica Kincaid, Xuela.